The Dodgers win Game 2 of the National League Championship Series 5-1 over the Milwaukee Brewers, and they now lead this best-of-7 series 2-0. Another good, solid win for the Dodgers. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, fantastic last night. Went the distance, a complete game. Went the full 9 innings. His final stat line: 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, which was the first pitch he threw of the game to Jackson Churio. He put it in the right field seats out there in Milwaukee. 7 strikeouts, but man, he was fantastic. Everything you could have imagined, and honestly more. If you would have told me going into game 2 that Yoshinobu Yamamoto would basically top what Blake Snell did in game 1, I would have said, not that you're crazy. Yoshinobu definitely has the stuff to do it, but I would have said, man, that's gonna be hard to do, because remember, Blake Snell the night before through 8 scoreless innings, only gave up 1 hit and had 10 strikeouts. Uh, that's and no walks. So that's when I would have said, well, how's Yamamoto gonna top that? He pretty much matched him, went the distance, and I was, first of all, in game 1 when Blake Snell got out of the was able to get through the 8th inning relatively quickly. He was at like 103 pitches. I was begging Dave Roberts not to take him out, and sure enough, as soon as he did, it got interesting. But um, this time, the Dodgers. I was hoping Dave Roberts would let Yamamoto at least start the inning. If he gives up a walk or a base hit or something, then yeah, sure. You have Vesia ready to go to light to get rid of the fire and close this game out. But you know, Dave Roberts said at the beginning before this postseason that he was going to have to rely heavily on his starters. And so far, he has not backed off of his word. He's letting these guys go, and look no further than Yoshinobu Yamamoto last night. The first pitcher in baseball history to throw a complete game since Justin Verlander in 2017, Game 2 of the National League Championship Series, ironically the same game of the Championship Series, and the first Dodger pitcher to do this since 2004, the late great Jose Lima, R.I.P. to him when he did it against the Cardinals in 2004. So, a lot of history was made last night. Max Muncy hitting his 14th Dodger postseason home run, which now makes him the all-time leader in Dodger postseason home runs. He was tied with Corey Seager and Justin Turner for the most, and now Max Muncy stands alone. And congratulations to him. Max Muncy he's dealt with a lot of adversity over the last couple years. He was hurt a lot, especially last year. Then he got hurt again this year. Um, and listen, man, that Max Muncy, there's always been rumors because of his defense that, you know, a lot of Dodger fans, and I've never been like this. I've always been a Max Muncy believer that, maybe they should move off of him and go bring in, a Nolan Arenado. That was always the name that kept popping up. But um, Max Muncy has really grown into his own, especially the last couple years. And to see him hit a big home run like that, to give the Dodgers a little bit of breathing room at the time, because at the time Max Muncy hit the home run, it was in the 6th inning. The Dodgers were winning 2-1, and the Dodgers innings before that had left some traffic on the bases, and you felt like, man, like I was telling myself the whole time that, man, this 2-1 lead is not gonna hold. It's not gonna hold. Now, I would eventually be wrong because Yamamoto would go the distance, but in the moment, it's like the Dodgers have to score more runs than two, and on a 3-2 pitch, Freddie Peralta tried a backdoor fastball again, which to me didn't make any sense. He threw 2 fastballs just to get back into the count after being down 3-0 to Max Muncy, but then threw a fastball outside. Muncy didn't miss it, put a good swing on it, and man, I thought Sal Frelick was gonna rob that one again. I really thought he was gonna do that, because remember, he took pretty much a grand slam away from Muncy in game 1, which led to the crazy double play with Teoscar Hernandez not knowing the situation, and led to the Dodgers getting no runs. But um, Max Muncy delivered with a big home run again, and now he's the all-time leader in Dodger postseason home runs. So congratulations to him. Other notes here: Teoscar Hernandez continues to be fantastic at the plate. Had another home run yesterday. It's only 2 games, and we still got a long way to go here. But right now, I mean, he's my front runner to win an NLCS MVP. And shout out to my friend and colleague Kyle, who said he would win NLCS MVP. So far, he's pretty right about that. Had another home run today. Is now his fourth of the postseason, um, and helped settle Yamamoto and help settle this Dodger team in after Yamamoto gave up the solo shot on the first pitch to Chiriot in the first inning, which was not a bad pitch. But then, you know, this is what I've wanted to see from this Dodger team. Just when you think the Brewers are going to have a good night, their fans are going to get back into it, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is not phased by giving up a solo shot on his first pitch, settles down, has a quick first inning after that, and then the Dodgers in the top of the second get back the lead with a Teoscar solo shot, which was a moon shot. The way the camera had it, it was a tape measure shot. It didn't go, 500 feet or anything like that, but just the way it looked, it looked like a tape measure shot. It only went 377 feet, but of course it was enough to get out. And then this bottom of the order man continues to produce. Kike Hernandez, getting on base with a single, getting a base hit with 2 outs, and then Andy Pages, somebody who's had a bad postseason, and we've been waiting to see him, get into something, and just seeing from his at bats over the postseason, he's had some bad ones where I particularly yesterday in game, 2 nights ago in game 1 where he worked like a 10 pitch at bat, and on a 3-2 pitch, a ball that was clearly a ball going down in the zone, he swung at it for a grounder to third, and Andy Pages has just been a tick late on the fastballs, and he got into one. He got a pitch to hit in the top of the second inning yesterday, and he hit a beautiful ball down the right field line, which the way the outfield defense for the Milwaukee Brewers was playing, Chiriot was kind of more over to like almost right center field, so that left like a huge hole down the right field line, and sure enough, Paul has put it down there, and Kike was able to score all the way from first to give the Dodgers a 2-1 lead, and then Yamamoto continued to pitch well, settle down, and Dodgers didn't score again until the 6th inning with the Muncy home run, and then in the seventh inning, the Dodgers got a run from, I believe it was Tommy Edman putting a base hit or something like that. Shohei Ohtani, finally. We've been waiting for this guy to do something. He finally did in the 7th inning. They did bring in a lefty for him, but on a 2-2 pitch, he was able to finally get something, get a good swing on the ball, and he put it through the infield, who was playing in to try and get the runner at home, but makes a 4-1, and then Tommy Edman made it 5-1, and then that was it. This was more of the Dodgers' complete win. Now, they still did leave a lot of guys on base. I think they left 10 guys on base, and this is the thing I love so much about this Dodger team, particularly the last couple of years, is that they understand that, yeah, they won the game 5-1, but they understood that this easily could have been 7, 8, 9 runs. That the Dodgers could have won by. They had bases loaded with nobody out in the 9th inning, and they were unable to tack on any runs, and that still has to get fixed, and that still has to get cleaned up for, hey, you're never going to complain about a win. The Dodgers win this game, 2-0 series lead, and they're now coming back home, looking to close this series out, later this week, but this Dodger team is starting to hum at the right time, man. They've had the starting pitching all this postseason, and really since the late August, beginning of September, they've had the good starting pitching. But now you're starting to see this offense slowly starting to break out of it. They had a tough series against the Phillies. I mean, listen, those Philly starters were good. Sanchez, Luzardo, and Suarez, 3 good left-handed starting pitchers, and then so far, and they only scored 2 runs yesterday, but this Dodger offense is slowly starting to maybe get out of it a little bit, and they scored 5 runs today, 11 hits, Got Freddie Peralta. That was the other thing I really liked too because this they had to throw a bullpen game bit. So pretty much, um, if you're not aware right now, the Milwaukee Brewers pitching is pretty much depleted and all over the place right now. They had to throw a bullpen game in Game 5 to beat the Cubs to get to the championship series. They had to throw a bullpen game in Game 1 of this NLCS. So then they went to their top starter, Freddie Peralta, for tonight in Game 2, and they got his pitch count up, which was good to see. And he didn't even finish the 6 innings. He was one strike away from getting out of the 6th inning and throwing 6 inning, completing that inning. And then of course Muncy he gave up the solo shot to Muncy, which got him out of the game. But that's the thing that I really like about this Dodgers series as we go out here to LA for Game 3 tomorrow. Um, the Brewers have had to use a lot of their bullpen pieces. You saw their closer Uribe twice now already in this series, back-to-back nights, after having to use him again on Saturday for Game 5 against the Cubs in that division series. The Dodgers haven't really shown a lot of their bullpen. They haven't used Emmett Sheehan. They haven't used Alex Vesia. Blake Trinan got a big out in Game 1. He didn't get used that much. They have not used a lot of their bullpen pieces back there yet after these 2 games, and part of it is because they've gotten great starting pitching from Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto in these first 2 games. So, not only do the Dodgers have a 2-0 series advantage, but they have the advantage in terms of their pitching because Glasnow is going to throw Game 3, and I would like to think that after that it'll be Sheehan or however, but the Dodgers have the ability to use their bullpen, their trusted bullpen pieces. Anthony Bonda is another one who wasn't used. You saw him get warmed up there late in the 9th inning there before Yamamoto came back out. But the Dodgers have all the advantages, and they also, of course, they're coming home. This is the second time in baseball postseason history that the two teams in both the league championship series, and I'm talking about the American League side too, have won all 4 of their road games to start the series. So if you're not keeping tabs or not keeping track of what's going on in the American League side of the bracket right now, it is the Seattle Mariners. They have a 2-0 series lead against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Seattle Mariners went into Toronto and took the first 2 games, and now they're coming home for a Game 3 tonight. And the Dodgers did the same thing. They went to Milwaukee, got the 2 games, and now they're coming home too. That's only the second time in baseball postseason history where 2 road teams took all 4 games on the road to start a championship series. So that was very impressive. And Dodgers are 4-0 in this postseason on the road. Road dogs, road warriors, whatever you want to call it, kings of the road, whatever. They have gone into and they mentioned it on the broadcast last night, and I knew about it, but then it really got me thinking. The Dodgers in the last 2 postseasons, they've gone into some hostile places and won some pretty big games. Of course, last season they had to go with their backs against the wall, down 2-1 on a bullpen game. Beat the Padres 8-0 to force a Game 5 back in LA. They had to do that at Petco Park, and then they took 2 out of 3 from Citi Field against the Mets to come home and win the pennant. And then, of course, they won the World Series at Yankee Stadium last year after being down 5-0. And then fast forward to this postseason, they took 2 games in Philadelphia, and they've taken 2 games in Milwaukee. So the Dodgers have won some pretty big road games over the last 2 postseasons, and it's continued this year, and you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this Game 2 little recap here. The Dodgers, just keep doing what you're doing, man. The series shifts out to LA with Game 3 tomorrow. Of course, you guys will see that after the game. Job's not finished. I know there's a lot of people in the media that are saying the series is over. I'm not buying it, of course. You know that until the final out is recorded. But at the end of the day, this Brewers team still won 97 games. Record-wise, still the best in baseball. But you're just starting to see that, man, this Dodger team is starting to click. Like their pitching has always been there, but now their offense is starting to get it going a little bit. And you know, I told Kyle this when we recorded 2 days ago. If their offense can figure this out, this is gonna get ugly. And I told Kyle this too, that the Dodgers win the 2 games in Milwaukee. This might get ugly real quickly, but again, it's not over just yet. Hopefully the Dodgers learn from the last round. They let the Phillies have a good offensive night in Game 3. Now, of course, they went back to not doing much in Game 4, but hopefully the Dodgers don't play around with their food a little bit. Hopefully the Dodgers come out tomorrow. Treat tomorrow like an even series or like you're down 0-2. Because this is, if Milwaukee loses tomorrow, like that's it. I know there's a lot of people that said it after Game 1 or Game 2, but if you lose tomorrow, that's pretty much it. But with 2 more home games potentially at Dodger Stadium, um, you know, tomorrow, last night was a must win for the Milwaukee Brewers, but tomorrow is really a must win for the Milwaukee Brewers, because if you don't win tomorrow, it's pretty much a wrap. But Dodgers got to keep doing what they're doing. Shohei Ohtani gotta continue. We saw some glimpses of it. He's taking his walks. He still had 2 ugly at bats at the end of the game. Struck out on 3 pitches in the ninth inning. That wasn't good. But hopefully the Dodgers keep doing what they're doing. Series is not over, even though we're up 2-0. Got to get 2 more wins. But this Dodger team is 2 wins away from going back to the World Series for the second straight year. That's crazy. But don't want to think about that yet. We still got to get 2 more wins here. And yeah, we'll see you after Game 3. Adios.